Jayron, obviously difficult to see Leighton go through something like this. Can you kind of just shed some perspective on how you feel for him?
It's tough. It's tough, like you said. Leighton's a huge leader, not only on his defense but on the team. Just to see a guy that put so much into it and trying to help us succeed as well as him succeeding. It's tough. It's tough to lose a guy like that, let alone a teammate. So, we're putting our hands around Leighton, and Leighton's a strong guy. Doesn't show it a lot, but we're continuing to keep our hands around him, and just let him know we're here for him.
DeMarcus was talking about how when you have a neck injury like that, a repeat injury, it makes you think about more than just football. Can you talk about, do you have a moment where you think differently about things when you see a guy going through that?
Definitely. We're fathers, brothers, sons. So, this is a small portion of our life when it comes down to playing this sport. We've been doing it for so long, but you just got to understand that, the amount of years you spent playing football, you're going to have many more years where you're not playing football. And, I have kids. I know Leighton's expecting, and, it's just a lot of different things that you have to think about when it comes down to, we said a lot when you're younger, but as you get older, you just understand that, this is work, and the things that we have outside of this are things that, you can't duplicate that, and money can't buy, family and those types of things. So you have to think about those impacts a lot of your decisions when it comes down to dealing with injury that severe.
And with his most recent injury situation, really unfortunate how it happened with him being pushed, but when you have an injury history, you can't really keep that top of mind on the field necessarily, right?
Yeah, you can't. Like I said, it's tough. It's tough to deal with, and I'm just it's not me personally dealing with it, so I can't even imagine the feelings and the thoughts that's going through his head of having to deal with something of that magnitude. And like I just said, all we can do in this building is just keep our arms around him and let him know that we support him and we're here for him.
Can you just talk about how the defense has been able to regroup after losing a guy like that and losing earlier a guy like Trayvon?
It's just having the right guys behind them and just ready to go. Guys that's waiting for the opportunities, guys that, when their number's called, they're ready to go out there and make plays. And we have a lot of those guys in a lot of different positions where, when their number's called, they're ready to go out there and do the same things that the guys in front of them were doing. And that's just the way we build our defense. It's next guy up mentality, and guys take heed of that, and they continue to go out there and try to duplicate the things that the guy in front of them was doing.
How proud have you been of Marquise being able to step into that role, and what do you feel like he can still show?
Extremely proud. I don't even feel like he's played his best game yet. Just a guy that came in, just a guy that was ready to work, and one day you just come in and tell him you're going to work with the linebackers, and to go out there and perform the way he's performing is tremendous. And like I say, he hasn't even played his best game yet, so I'm excited to see what that looks like when he puts it all together. Coverage, run fits, tackling, making plays on the ball, just all those types of things that's going to come along with the more comfortable he gets playing that linebacker role.
Does it ever surprise you, like when an undrafted guy comes in his second year and he's able to step into a role like that, or is it just kind of knowing Marquise, you know who he's ready for?
A guy like Marquise that was a great player going into college, got into some trouble, ended up at FAMU, and then balled at FAMU. Him going undrafted has nothing to do with his play on the field. So it doesn't surprise me with a guy like that, because when he came in, you could tell right away that this guy can play some football. So him doing what he's doing isn't surprising. The thing that surprised me the most is, safety, get moved to linebacker, and then go out there and play at a high level like he's playing. that's a surprising thing.
Micah didn't register like a tackler statistic in the last game, but how much does his impact and how closely offenses focus on taking him out of the game, how does it help you and the rest of the defense, that attention he gets?
It's tremendous. It's tremendous. Every snap, if you don't have your eyes on 11, then 9 times out of 10 he's gonna wreck that play. So every time somebody lines up against us, they want to know where 11 is, whether he's on the edge, whether he's interior, whether he's off the ball at linebacker. You have to know where 11 is. So his impact to the game is not just going to show up on the stat sheet all the time, because he's opening a lot of doors for a lot of other guys to go out there and make plays, get sacks and interceptions and those types of things.
We talked with you about what was missing after Arizona, after San Francisco. What's different about this team now?
I just believe we believe. Like, it's one thing to go out there and just say you believe, and it's another thing to go out there and show that you believe. And I just believe a lot of guys in this building at this point know, the things that we're capable of. And I don't feel like we played our best game as a whole entire team, offense, defense, special teams. I feel like we've had games where, we've blown teams out that we should blow out. But when it comes down to us doing what we say we want to do, it's going to come down to those big games, those San Fran games, those Philly games, Miami, the Bills, and those types of games, to where we put together a complete game, and that shows who you are as a team. I feel like we're winning the games that we're supposed to win, and it gets to those games that we know it's going to be a fight that we have to come out on top of.
When you talk about gaining the belief, was that really Philly? Is that kind of what you're getting at?
Yeah, it was Philly. It's just understanding, like I said, we didn't play our best game, and then for it to come down to literally the last play, it just showed that we can play with the people that everyone says the top dogs in this NFC. We can play with those guys, and it's just, for me, kind of showed that that's real. We can really play with these guys, for the simple fact that we made a lot of mistakes that game, and it still came down to that last play of the game.
Going back to Micah real quick, do you have an example of a play where the attention that he gets has opened a door for you to make an impact on a specific play?
It's been a lot this season. I just say, my interception I got against the Jets. He beats the double team. He's chasing Zach Wilson, and you're running from that guy. You're not really thinking about a lot of other things. You're just trying to get the ball out of your hands so he doesn't kill you. And he puts the ball in the air, and I'm able to make a play. That's one example, but you can turn the tape on. You see a lot of examples of Micah helping out a lot of different guys. When it comes to them making plays.
What about the play that you blitzed on Sunday and he dropped back into coverage? Is that an example?
I would say that was just a combination of a lot of things. That's a combination of D-Law doing what he's supposed to do, and guys focusing on D-Law, and then you have 90 and 11 stacked on top of each other. They're gonna grab a lot of attention when it comes down to getting to the quarterback, and then Micah drops out. D-Law takes 2, and that leaves me free. I got to finish on that sack though, but but just those types of things where the guys that we have that makes a huge impact. You keep eyes on those guys, and it opens the doors for a lot of other players.
When you're in a stretch of games, like you said earlier, you're supposed to win, and you've got something like the Philly rematch looming down the road. How do you fight the human nature to sort of let your mind wander that when you still got this in front of you?
You're just trying to stack them. You're just trying to stack them, understanding that if we can stack those games, that's going to build more confidence. Looking at Philly right now, that's not going to do anything for you. So we're just trying to stack these games that we have in front of us right now. And then when that time comes, if we do the things that we're supposed to do, it's just going to help build confidence when we get to that game.
What did you learn? Frustration that because you haven't beaten Philly and San Francisco, that people are looking at you guys a little differently because those are considered among the top teams in your conference?
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It doesn't really matter how anybody else look at us. It's about what we believe.
What do you guys believe, despite the losses of those two teams?
Like I just said, we can play with anybody.
When you go back to the last Philly game and you said, we were there, but it was just the mistakes. What's that next step for eliminating that? Is that coaching? Is that mental? What is it?
Nah, I mean, mistakes are. You can't say mistakes aren't coaching. Like penalties aren't coaching. Like, you're just seeing a lot of, being on social media. You see a lot of things when it comes down to coaches need to get this in order and all. Penalties aren't coaching. They're not playing the game. So, it just comes down to us doing our job, us understanding that, in those tough and gritty moments, that's when you have to be at your most complete when it comes to your mindset and just your discipline. So, it's just all us and taking care of business when it comes down to those types of things.
Y'all learned anything from the Arizona game, going to this game on the road? I don't know if y'all took them lightly, but it's a lesson of this is a struggling team, 1-8 or whatever, and now you're going to their place.
Nothing is guaranteed. That's what I learned from it. Nothing's guaranteed. You can't go into any game feeling like, oh, their record is this, or this team is that. Nothing's guaranteed in this league, so I don't think we'll have nothing like that again.
I thought why you were so angry after that loss, more so than maybe others, because you felt like we should beat them, regardless of what the record was.
Yeah, it gets to a point where, you're going to lose some games. You're going to lose some games, but the games that you should win, you have to win. And letting one slip, in a race like this, in this division, in this conference, you don't want to let any game like that slip, especially being a NFC opponent. So that's why it kind of had me so angry. We lost a game that we shouldn't lose, and like I said, we learned from it. So it's just about moving forward now.
How do you take your success from the home 12 wins in a row to starting fast and winning on the road in a similar way?
You just try to have that same, you try to capture the same feelings that you have, whenever you're in AT&T, when you're on the road. You just got to kind of, whatever it is that you do, or for a home game, you want to do those same things for a away game. You want to just try to capture that same feeling, so when you get out there, it feels like a home game and you go out there and we can go out there and dominate the same way we do in AT&T.